two words: graffiti hurts. Within the realm of graffiti, as graffiti grows, it is absolutely linked to other more serious crimes. There becomes a perception within the neighborhood that no one cares, no one's maintaining the buildings in the area. Now, in reality, those higher crime spikes may not be actually occurring, but the perception of the public is that it is. Basically, when we look at graffiti vandalism, we have to look at its root word of graphion, which is to write in the ancient Greek. So with any written text on any surface done without permission from the property owner, if an individual uses a spray can, marker, scratching or etching tools, felt markers, all these things incorporate a written text on a surface. It's graffiti vandalism. About 80% of the graffiti that we see across the Canadian urban landscape is known as hip-hop graffiti. Hip-hop graffiti has three different styles. The first evolutionary style is simple tagging, one color, one dimensional. This is the individual's nickname, their moniker, symbolism. It is absolutely their own. Once they have delivered that message across an urban landscape and have drawn it as many times as they can or feel is appropriate to get recognition, they evolve to the second stage, which is a throw-up or a bubble-styled lettering. A lot larger, a lot more complex, where tags take seconds to do, throw-ups take minutes. And there's more risk of getting caught by property owners and the police, so there's more of that currency of fame and recognition paid to them. The third and final evolutionary stage within the realm of hip-hop is the piecing, or short for masterpiece. This is multi-dimensional, multicolor. It's a very large mural-style writing. If I see communities that exhibit these type of piecing, I know that community is in trouble because they have this as show pieces for other young adolescents starting to develop this graffiti need. They see this, they choose to aspire to its degree of complexity and style and symmetry, and it becomes a sort of a trophy for them to aspire to. And that's very problematic for us. Graffiti is designed to be cryptic. It's not designed for you or I as community members or police officers to decipher. It's designed as a communicative tool strictly for the subculture. They will understand it from communicating with each other by phone call, text messaging, emails, voicemails, and communicating out on the street. It's for their eyes initially, and for the community as a change of aesthetic secondarily. Initially, a lot of the vandals or writers were choosing more mainstream locations, the walls in the back alleyways, the storefronts, the alcoves, the subway systems, the freight cars. Part of the culture has driven them to more extremes to get fame and recognition from applying their message to areas where there's more risk. So more freight trains are being done, the water towers, the second and third story buildings, the overpasses, the bridge abutments. Placing themselves at physical risk becomes a challenge, and there's more fame and recognition given to them. Another aspect that we find from research that these young people do graffiti vandalism is what they call the physiological need, and that's the rush. What they do is when they go to a surface location to do their spray painting, that intersection between creativity and illegality as the paint hits the wall and they get that adrenaline rush, that's what they want. That's the currency they want paid. And it's very difficult for us as community members to supply a similar physiological high within academics or sports. Education is crucial, not only the policing community in regards to identifying the different styles of graffiti and how to deal with it through our court systems, but educating the community members about identifying graffiti and having it removed off their property. And this is crucial to have our community members shoulder the responsibility of cleaning up their property. They may be apathetic to their next door neighbor or the business down the street, but if it's on their property, take responsibility, remove it, and maintain that removal process. Preventing graffiti is very difficult because it's a multifaceted approach. We must have the police involve themselves in eradication and enforcement and education means. We have to bring in the community. We have to mobilize entire communities to educate the young people about how graffiti affects and offends communities. We have to educate the property owners and the business improvement associations that if they see graffiti on their property and others, they have to act and remove it right away. There has to be a major adjustment of policing attitudes within all police services in dealing with graffiti vandalism. Historically, it's been one of those lesser crimes that has been shelved and subjugated to lesser resources and lesser efforts. But once police organizations realize how demeaning and defeating graffiti vandalism is to communities and how it is linked to a number of collateral crime issues, we have to empower them to act. And how they act is when they're out patrolling their communities, identify where the graffiti is, where is it growing, and what are the different styles. We have a gang graffiti issue or a hip-hop issue, is it political activism? Archive that, archive it through photographs, through the occurrence processing. Talk to the community members as to how do they see the growth, do they see a gang association or other collateral crimes happening. Police officers also have to look at the aspect that when they're making arrests for graffiti vandalism, we're up against a higher challenge now because of the new youth legislation. But we can't let that lessen the application of the times we want to get out there and create an enforcement aspect to arrest or do the in-person investigative cards on these young people and gather archive and intelligence information about who is doing this and why. An informed community seeing graffiti vandalism growing should act. They should create and develop programs and associations to not only go to the areas where graffiti vandalism is growing and eradicate that, educate the property owners, but also spend a tremendous amount of time and resources on channeling the energy of our youth into a lawful application. It may be artistic, that's fine. Give them opportunities to apply their style and symmetry on lawful surfaces that are controlled so it doesn't debase itself into racist type of slogans or anything which is homophobic or sexist. We have to make sure that our educators, as soon as they identify students at risk or young people at risk, they take that step forward and move and provide resources and provide opportunities.